Few things which I want to address today. For the most part of this year, I've been facing with a creative block. And that's just something I want to break. And I think the best way to breaking things is by making things. The place behind me used to be a beach like 20 years ago and maybe even more. And I used to come swimming here. Now it's just a regular shore with some kind of a woodwork company in the background. This tiny forest here used to be way bigger before I went to China, but they cut it down because the trees were too old and they were falling down. So it used to be as big as the one in the background where we're heading now. So we used to go camping here, especially during the May holidays, like May the 1st, the Labor Day, whatever you call it. And speaking of labor, brings me back to my issue of creative block, of not being able to work. And I'm trying to figure out why that happened. And I'm not sure that I have a clear answer. But here are a few assumptions. I think that the first problem, and the most obvious one, is that I'm too self-critical. And what do I mean by that? Let's try not to fall down. Well, I tried to make better videos. It's not that I wasn't filming all this time. I simply wasn't posting. And the reason I wasn't posting is because I wasn't satisfied with the outcome. To be able to improve my video quality, I was even writing scripts for my videos, but the trouble with that was that I would write the script, wait for the second draft, which usually means the following day. Oh man, this sunlight is so harsh. And that would mean reading it the next day and thinking that it was shit and just leaving it there because it was beyond fixable. So living with that notion that there is no fixing of my script, I would put more and more pressure on making better and better scripts. And if it's not as good as I wanted it to be, even in the first draft, I wouldn't even write it. Even if it felt like the idea doesn't matter, it's a bad idea, I would simply even stop thinking about making anything, let alone make something. This bird and this bird have been following me all the way. I think I'm scaring them and they go in front of me. So, sorry birds. And I think one of the ways to overcome that is to set a deadline and not to worry much about the quality. I'm not saying that you should ship anything What I'm saying is that you should ship regularly and make things good enough. Even if they are not the best of your work, make them good enough and ship them. Otherwise you'll just fall into this trap of never being satisfied with your work, and that can lead you into creative block. But that's not the only reason I was having that creative block. Sometimes I would get myself ready for work, and when I would start to write or film or do anything, I would think something like, is this going to make me any money? And if it wouldn't, I would simply switch to something that I believed would make me some money, like making merch for my other channel, or simply applying for freelance jobs. We don't need any filters inside, luckily. So as I was editing this vlog, I realized that I came to the part when I was talking about doing something for the money, and now I remembered Neil Gaiman's famous speech, "Make good art." If you haven't seen it before, just go on YouTube and type "Make Good Art" by Neil Gaiman, famous speech. And it boils down to make good art. Whatever happens to you, just make good art. Because if you do something for money, if you don't get the money, which most often happens, at least you've got good art. And that's it. I remember listening to a lecture by Alan Watts. Someone was filming him when he was talking to a bunch of students, and he asked them, like, what are you going to do when you graduate? And they would say something like lawyer or a doctor or a businessman or whatever makes a lot of money. And then he asked them again, all right, that's all nice, but now I want you to think again, but this time imagine that money was not a problem, that you can do anything. What would it be? And then they changed their answers. And his notion to that was, now take that other option and do it, and the money will come. If you're persistent and good enough, the money will take care of itself, especially when you do something that you love. And this is especially a good advice if you don't have anyone to take care of. If you're a student, or you live alone, or you're just taken care of. Here in this so-called bigger forest, let me be clear, it's not a forest, it's just a bunch of trees next to the road and next to the agriculture area. But yeah, we used to camp here, and that was some great times. So let me get back into the thing that I was talking about. Even if you have someone to take care of, like I do, and you can't afford not having a job, then you should definitely spend your free time more wisely and try to do the thing that you love and eventually turn it into a legitimate business. But don't worry too much about the money. Just worry about the work. Put in the hours. I'm not sure if that was a good shot or not. But that moody dark scene maybe wasn't so bad. And the third, and perhaps not so obvious reason for having that creative block was me not going out enough. And what I mean by that is that I would simply sit at home worrying that I wasn't productive enough. How much workload can I actually put on myself without burning myself down? And not realizing that I'm not productive because I'm sitting at home. Because even in China, most of my vlogs came from my trips from home to work. And not any kind of trip, but when I was walking to the bus stop. And then I realized walking makes me think, and thinking makes me create these things, create memories, trying to simply make a record of my thoughts and organize them in a creative manner. This is like the draining system where all the extra water goes into the spare canals, and it's used for watering the fields. And this piece of shit is the dirtiest water in whole of Europe. Thank you. And I'm not sure even if I should cross this bridge or not. Doesn't look very promising. But let's try. So all the wastewater goes into this canal. Wastewater from a factory there. You probably can't see it. It's way too in a distance. But it's where the sugar is made and the cookies. And the wastewater is dumped here. Horrible. This canal here, on the other hand, is quite clean, and there used to be a lot of fish here when I was a kid. I'm not sure about now. This whole area, the northern part of Serbia, is mainly flatlands, and it's one huge crop field. That's where we get our food from. These blackberries used to be staple food when I was a kid. I would come here fishing mostly every day in the summer and eat a ton of these berries. So back to this shit again. So we're back in the woods. And let's get back into my problem. So in order to post more consistently and to overcome my creative block, I need to be less self-critical. I need to worry less about the money, because the main goal of this is not just to make money, it's to learn something. Something that I can learn and something that you can learn as well. So if I'm not fulfilling that goal, then nothing else matters. And the third and the most important thing, which is the least obvious, is the fact that I need to take more walks and I need to film the stuff that I'm doing more often. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show you. And to be able to film things, I need to do things. Simple as that. It's funny that I'm here in the nature and you can hear the traffic and heavy machinery in the fields, tractors, pretty damn old tractors. But there is one more thing. If I want this project to succeed, I need to come home and edit the same day. Otherwise, when I watch it tomorrow, it will probably feel like shit. It's gonna be tough. Or in the worst case scenario, edit tomorrow, the first thing in the morning. Otherwise, it will just feel like one big blob, waste of time, pointless. See, it's the self-critic working now. Maybe I should stop filming. See ya next time.